Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Kashfix. Today we are working on the front brakes and rotor replacement on 2012 Nissan Sentra. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first thing first, let's go ahead and loosen up your lug nuts. So this Nissan has 21mm lug nuts. Let's go ahead and lose all 4 lug nuts and we should be able to jack up the car, and we will remove the wheel first. Alright, so I just removed the wheel. So let's go ahead and remove the brake caliper and the rotor. Let me show you a trick. If you see, there's one small window inside of the caliper, and if you slide the screwdriver in and kind of find the spot to bite it and press it, pull it towards you. So what's going to happen is it's going to compress the piston back, and as you can see, it just moving up. Just be careful, maybe you could slip. Don't hurt yourself. And once you do that, let me show you. So you see the caliper is already loose. So once you remove these 2 bolts, so it will slide off very much easily. All right, now go ahead and remove this one and this one too, 14mm bolts. I would suggest remove the bottom one first. Go ahead and remove the top one. Remove the bolt. Remove the caliper. See how nicely it just came off. If just make sure don't let this fall here. You could break your brake line or the brake hose. So try to secure it with somehow here and zip tie it. All right. Remove the brake pads, front brake pads. 1, and this is 2. Remove it fully. Now go ahead and remove 1 and 2 caliper bracket bolts out. So the next thing we're gonna do, 19mm bolts. Break them loose and remove it. So the same rule, if you loosen up and remove the bottom one first. So in this way, the bracket itself won't fall on you or your feet. On the top one. Kind of really tight. Take a look at the hand first. Make sure, because I'm making a video with one hand and using just one hand. I'm holding this bracket with my leg. Don't let it fall. Remove the bolt. Now go ahead and remove this fully. All right. Here's another thing you can do. Especially for unexperienced people, this rotor is not secure with any screw, unfortunately. So what you can do before removing the bracket, just make sure put this lug nuts on, so in this way it won't fall on your feet, won't hurt you. Once you fully remove the bracket and everything, ready to remove the rotor, remove the lug nut, and then you can pull it off, the whole rotor, and there you go. This is how we remove the front brakes pads, caliper, and the rotor. Now let's go ahead and replace with the new one. All right, so these are the part numbers for the front brake rotor. I bought this from a local parts store called Olympus, imported auto parts. And these are the front brake pads, come with the nice hardware kit. And the brake pad looks decent. That's the part number, made by Centric Parts. I always like the Centric brakes, they are reliable. Let's go ahead and put them on. Matching your new parts with the old one is very important. As you can see, I lined up both rotors back to back, and they are the same height, and it's a very good quality rotor. All right, just wiped off the grease on the rotor. This surface where the brake pad is gonna run, you don't need to clean the whole rotor, just this part. What you can do, you can just spray on the rag, brake part cleaner. It's not a whole lot, just a little bit. Just spray that and wipe it off nicely like that on both sides. That's it. Now go ahead, put your rotors in, and don't not forget to secure this rotor by just securing one lug nut, and put your caliper bracket back on. All right, before you putting this back the bracket, because these brakes comes with the hardware, I would love to replace the hardware. So let's go ahead and remove this off. This is very straightforward, just making a video with one hand, so it's just, there you go. Pull this off, brush it a little bit if you need it to, and put this new hardware in place like this. This is a very self-adjustable, so just slide them in. There you go. All right, so the next step is to put the bracket back. All right, don't forget to torque it per manufacturer specification. Check the pins, lube them up, pull it out. As you can see, it's not too bad. It looks free already, but it's still put the new lube in. All right, so lube the pins, put them back. Just pay attention to these one. If they are seized, this also could cause a problem with your braking, so make sure they are free moving, no rust, and really good lube them. Now go ahead and put your brake pads on. All right, apply a little bit of a lube on the brake pads here so they will slide freely. Placing here, line it up here, and just slide it. You see how nicely that fits in? That's what I like the Olympus imported parts. The last thing is you need to press this brake piston back, and remember how I compress with the screwdriver, so I do not need it. But in case if it's still not good, look, this is pretty loose for me, so it's gonna work. But in your case, if you were not able to compress it, so use the brake caliper compression tool, compress this piston, make sure it's fully lined up and fully backed, and go ahead, put this back in here, this, and like that. Now go ahead, start the bolts on. They are in, this one in. These are the 14mm bolts. Start it up. All right, tie them up. Torque it, or a manufacturer torque specification. Remove this lug nut and put your tie back. That's it. This is how we do our front brake pad and rotor replacement on 2012 Nissan Sentra, and this is the same procedure if you wanted to do for 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, and some newer models. It's the same way, just a little bit a torque specification difference. All right, so the wheel is on, I'm just doing a standard lug nut torque, which is 85 to 95 foot-pound. 85, 90 should be okay. I couldn't find the specification for this Nissan Sentra, so let's go ahead and do the 90 foot-pound for the safe side. One done. Two done. Three done. 4 done. Don't forget to press a few times the pedal, brake pedal, because since we compress the brake piston, so you may not have a brake, so just try it a few pumps and it should be hard and you're all good to go. So this is how we do our front brake pads and rotor replacement for 2012 Nissan Sentra. And if you have any questions, please ask me. Don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you, and see you with some other new video. Stay tuned.